So in this, there are the few issues are there in this for the national water policies proposals. In this, the nature and the scope of the natural water laws are the first one is the whatever the proposed national water laws is not intent to centralize the water management or to change the state central relationship in any way. It is just a framework of the national uh, it's a framework of the law on the umbrella and the statement of the general principles governing the exercise of the legislative or the executive powers by the center and the state and the local governance institutions. So second one is the law is to be justiciable in the sense that the laws passed and the executive actions taken by the central and the state governments and to development and the functions and the exercised in the nations, any deviations from this can be challenged in the court of the law. And third one is there is a no administrative machineries or the institutions structural is in predicting at the center under this framework. Hence, no panel proposed or expected. So there are the some of the key issues are there in this. First one is there is a lack of awareness. Okay, so there is a lack of awareness. In this lack of awareness about the for the law and the policies framework is still a major issues in the rural. And second one is the lack of participations. So in this participations, the lack of the public participation in the law and the policy making process is a collateral impact of a general awareness. Mostly, the law policy making process follow a top to bottom approach where the people are at the receiving end have no role to play in the framing of the norms and the now uh, framing the norms and the regulations. In this, the situation in the worst in the rural areas where people cannot read and write. This illiteracy problem is the problem for this for the making the law and the policies, and a lot of efforts is to be needed to put the to make the bottom to top approach where working lead law and the policy making in the process. Hence, the idea of the participation is also a very important from the angle of implementation of various policies. In this, there is a gender and the caste discriminations. Usually, the gender and the caste are the two important factors to be given adequate attention in the law and the policies and the framework. So related to the water and the sanitation. So in the woman and the lower caste people are quite often neglected sections. Even though women can play a crucial and effective role in the water resources management and the development, they are the mostly nowhere in the picture of the framing and the implementation of the various policies and the schemes. So in the emerging legal framework, also by the implication of excludes the humans for an instance, the participatory irrigation management laws allows only the landowners or occupiers to become the members of the water users associations. So that is WOAS. In this consequence, the women are excluded from the key decision making process. Next is the in the caste. Caste is also very crucial determining factors. Even though the caste discrimination has been prohibited by the law, it is still very prevalent in the rural areas and very minor in the urban areas. The lower caste people usually has to be wait till the higher caste people finish their fetching works and fetching water, and they also have the face sometimes a very abusing language and disgracing treatment. Hence, more action is to be needed from the government side to eliminate this discrimination in the sex discrimination or caste discrimination. This has to be eliminate in the eliminate from the society, as it is a inhuman practices. Thus, the irrigation management is not a discriminating the sex or caste. It is based only the managing the policies and effective way to bring the water resourcement to effective use of the society.